Okay. Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? So, got a couple of different videos planned for this weekend that'll be dropping this week. The first one I want to do is terrain. This is going to be a ever-expanding feature on the show, but everyone loves hills. Everybody. You like rock formations. You like a battle table full of cool shit. Don't you? I bet you do. I bet you do. I know I do. I was going to say, and there's Hannah to let us know. But, yeah. So, one thing I've seen is having been an avid model train fan as a kid, is that, yeah, a good amount of crossover comes from the model railroad scenicking equipment and supplies. Yeah, absolutely. Terrain Tutor Mel here on YouTube, wonderful fella, amazing narrator, sorry, either way, same difference. But, you know, he's real big on it, making battle boards, great stuff like that. Luke's APS as well. Great products, wonderful products. You can do it cheaper. And one thing that I never really enjoyed, being a fan of old fantasy wargaming, is hills that are just painted over styrofoam, that have nothing to fix the abutment that comes from stepping up this blue foam. You get, you know, everybody's seen it before. Standard blue foam. Seen it a million times. One thing that I've learned in the past couple of months is that the cheapest adhesive in the entire world for the sake of construction, this is a big tube. This is 10 fluid ounces worth of liquid nails, heavy duty. If you use this alone, it's going to look weird, and it's kind of going to be ineffective for the sake of volume adding, because the biggest thing for scenery is you need a lot of stuff. You need a lot of it, and you're going to burn through it. So if you're going to your friendly local comic shop and buying the insert brand here, tiny little tubs of flock and scenic material to make an entire board. The board that I'm sitting on, this is a couple of quarts worth of model railroad stuff that I had left over in the attic. You know, this would not be a cheap board if I were to go and buy in small units. One thing I did find out, though, is that you can mix anything you want as a filler for liquid nails and use it instead of buying modeling paste, instead of buying DOS. Yeah, even if you're buying DOS on a coupon at the craft store, you're still going to burn through a decent amount of money. This tube of liquid nails is $2 at the big hardware store. I think if you I buy them in bulk because I work on my house as well, so that helps. But bought in bulk in a case of 12, you save even more and goes a very long way. So, even though I know you have watched by now 1,000 videos on how to make styrofoam hills for tabletop play, we're going to do it together anyway. Okay. So, we have blue foam. Okay. Sharpie China marker. They're delightful. Just going to run in through here. Make a weird little oblong, odd shape. Now, I've watched a lot of videos that involve what type of blade to use to cut this stuff once you've marked it out. If you're going to cover it, as we're going to do today, you don't need to worry about that one bit. So, where's he at? There he is. Mr. Standard utility knife. Also, blue brand, blue store, It's where you buy hardware. Go buy it. Bought it at Lowe's. God's sake. Anyway, so standard $5 razor blade. These are nice, actually, as well, because they're folding. And I've always enjoyed folding knives. So, ew, we're going to be bothered by the noise as well. Don't worry. Okay. So we're going to trace out our line with the blade. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Now we've scored it nice and deep, right? I'm going to go back through. Yep. Squeak. Oh my god, squeak. Oh god, I hope I can take some of that out in editing. Oh, I hate that noise so much. Okay. So, I like to reuse excess, as you can tell. I don't particularly enjoy that much waste when I make stuff. So, good board. Good amount of board that we can make something with. Don't throw it out, set it behind you. Okay. There you go. Score it deep enough, you can come back through, pop these guys right off. They have a pretty big hill. Good thing I'm not finding my thrill here on Blueberry Hill. Okay. I'm alone on today's episode, which means that I'm making puns at myself. Oh, just kidding. Anna's in the front room. She's working on our logo, which is lovely. Okay. So we got a little bit of fluff. Got a little bit of that extra garbage. Got this garbage edges. I mean, look at these edges. Oh my god, that's horrifying, isn't it? Don't worry about it. We're going to cover it. Literally going to cover it. Okay? So, got our first base. That means we kissed at prom. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this China nub and I'm going to come back through and I'm going to just quick, brief outline so I know what I'm working with on the second piece underneath. And this is a big thing. If you're going to make layered things, it is always best to either come back through with a pencil and just make a ghost line, or literally take this and do this thing. Trace back through it. Okay. So what I want to do is I want the hill to be in, let's say like this. Okay. So, yeah, like that-ish. Okay. So we're going to repeat that pattern over here. I'm going to take a little bit out of the middle there. And, okay. So, alright. Going to grab our cutter boy. And this time I'm going to try to get deep enough that I don't have to burst it or break it apart because I want to keep this outer thing as a donut for some reason. I can't really explain why. I don't want to just cut this board into a couple of pieces, but at the moment, not super worried about it. Okay. So we're going to come back through. Skiggity boop. There you go. You can see it on the camera there that I'm running the blade the entire way through. Larg. Making some happy little hills here. These are just fingers talking to you right now. You're in space. Isn't that right, spaceman? Alright. So, yep. I agree, guys. I hate the noise of styrofoam. I find it horrifying. Okay. Okay. So now I have the outline of places that missed in the back. Just gonna run it over nice and gentle. Make sure that we cut all the way around it. Okay. Hey, here's Dusty DM. Alright, so.
Your actual name is John.
I know, that's why I didn't say, here's John. Nee. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this, caulk gun. Okay. Hold up for a second. If you happen to be a human who does not have a caulk gun, that is understandable. Okay? What you can do is you can take nippers, metal snips, you can take a razor blade, you can take that same blade knife, because you're going to have an X-Acto, you're going to have anything. You can cut straight down this tube and crack this boy open and scrape it out with a popsicle stick if you need. So don't assume that I am wrong because I'm using a tool. Also, these caulk guns are $4 at the same store in the same aisle that you're going to get glue from. Just buy a caulk gun while you're there. Don't be silly. Okay. Gonna take a little bit of that guy. And just for my own health here, we're gonna make sure this is foam safe glue. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that means it's construction adhesive, something important about styrofoam. So it's not gonna eat through blue foam. That's a great thing to know, isn't it? Because yeah, everything is kind of caustic when it comes to foam, where yeah, you need to use some Black Magic Craft Mod Podge layer over it so that it doesn't melt when you go to paint it. So you can spray paint it, or you can very gently spray can it with a couple of brands that actually work well for it. So we got our goop, gooped up on the back. Okay, here's the big deal. Take your stick that you're throwing on the back with, make a couple of little divots. Just a couple little long lines across that boy. These are little gravity wells. What's going to happen is the glue is going to get to... Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, it's murder. So, anyway. It's just a little bit of extra. What's going to happen is the glue is now going to get down into those little... I don't know how well you can see it. Yeah, you can pretty much see it, according to my 720p preview. So, you made some strokes just enough to dent into the surface. Okay? Nothing major. Alright, we're gonna refix our orientation here. Figure out what we were doing. Okay, yeah, it was like that. Gonna give him a push. Okay. Now, this is not an instant set glue. This is not an instant set adhesive. Sit him aside for the night. Let him hang out. Let him hang out for now. But we can do the other step as well. This is the fun thing about liquid nails. You can take this guy. I'm going to squeeze out a bunch. It's going to look real gross on this plastic container top that I'm using. Okay. Black sand from the Dollar Tree. $1. Look at all that sand. Delightful. Delightful. We're going to take this black sand and we're going to work it into this fella. Okay? We're gonna play like kids, like happy little kids, not like lunatics making content for the internet. We're just going to be happy little weirdos. Yeah? You're going to start folding it in. Going to play with it just a little bit. Look, ooh, yeah. Oh, it's so satisfying. Oh, so satisfying. I should have used a bigger lid. That's okay. Alright, so we're going to start working this in. And you're going to see, this is going to pick up all the sand. It's going to take all of that and start making the body bigger. It's going to make the mass of this little lumpy thingy real big. I know what you're saying. Hey man, couldn't we just smear that on and just kind of sculpt it up without putting stuff in it, yeah, absolutely. It's more irritating. Takes a little longer. It's just not as fun, you know? With this stuff, adding things into liquid nails, what you're doing is you're giving it a more viable mirth, if you would. And in that mirth, you're going to be able to get a more rigid structure out of it. It's going to be nice and hard and really, really stand the test of time. That thick hardness. Hard thickness? One of the two. Either way, I'm still giggling at the dick joke that I just made. So, we're gonna get in here until it's looking all squoosh. Okay. Alright, at some point I'm gonna get bored of mixing this by stick. Okay. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is skadoosh. I'll take some of this. I'm gonna put it right in my hand. Right in my hand. You see? Oh no! I've already got liquid nails on my hand. It's okay. Not caustic. Nothing is wrong with it. It is not deadly in any manner. I've used it for 1,000 years in my old professions of swinging a hammer and talking too much. Grab some more of that guy. Okay. Now over the fella here, over the plate that I have all the rest of it on, I'm gonna start mixing it in till it's got a nice wetness. It's great. It's a delightful moist plod. I want to say plod. That seems like the best thing to say at that spot. Okay. You can keep working. This is still sticky. Okay. It's gonna stay sticky, but you can work enough in here that it stops being sticky. That you're basically working with a large dough. Ball of dough. Okay. So we're gonna just keep going with the sand. Put some sand there. Yep. And for the sake of time, and the fact that this is kind of self-explanatory at this point. Alright. So, I'm going to set him down. Keep adding in. At some point, you'll find it. You'll find that point and you'll be so happy that you found it. It'll be like you escaped after 128 hours in the desert with your arm stuck in a crevasse. You'll be so enthused. You might even date the biker that you saw on the path. Oh my god. That is a deep movie joke. 108 hours. Sorry, 108 hours? The guy who got stuck out in the desert for 4 days? While he was hiking? Doing a danger hike. Highway to the danger hike. Okay. So we got a big old squish of gush here. Yep. About the best way to say it at this very moment. So we got some gush. Got our hands covered in gush. Got that weird spot of new skin that I made after burning myself with molten hot tin earlier this week. Yep, covered in gush. Just gushed all over. Okay. Yeah, keep on picking up the stuff that we laid down on this lid. Okay. Alright. Now what are we going to do? Well, for one thing, we're going to keep playing. That's what we do. We are children. Okay. So we're going to start just like paper mache in arts and crafts time. Just grab that big lump of glue, start spreading them out. Oh yeah. And you're getting so much coverage because you've added more to the glue. You've added more to this can of liquid nails, and now you can actually sculpt with it. It's delightful. And it's a fun activity involving playing with stuff like you're a kid. What's wrong with that? Nothing, from what I can tell. So, I'll leave some weight on there. Get it nice and deep in those cracks. Right where each layer of foam is meeting, and we're making this hill, we're going to make sure that we hold down. Let's got my right hand down here, because if anybody hasn't noticed yet, I'm a lefty. I don't know how you wouldn't have noticed that by this time, but the channel's been around for a while. Either case, there we go. But we're going to hold it down. I'm holding it down with my right wrist so that it's not moving. And then I can just get nice and in there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, no pain. No painstaking monotony as of yet, which is delightful. That's one of the problems that I have with terrain, which is why I stopped doing it after a while. I had gotten enthusiastic about building terrains and terrain pieces, and just, God, the monotony is murder. And I got into 3D printing, and, that was just as monotonous at some point. Maybe it's me. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Either case, all the stuff is still in your hands. If you happen to be using your hands to do this, like a silly sculptor lunar tick. So that's a tick that only comes out to suck the silver light out of your veins on a full moon. That's a tick that only drinks the silver bullet cores. A lunar tick. Yep, I agree. Sorry, my wife is across the room, so I'm going to keep making jokes while I work on this video. Okay, so... There we go. Okay, so as you work along, you need to take your stick, run it against your hand, get that stuff off your hand, get it off whatever you're working with, whether you use a bowl, whether you're smart enough to, start with a bowl instead of setting up for the video and then just diving right into it without thinking, hey, I should probably use a bowl for this. So we can get in here. Yeah. Gonna bring some of this around and around and around and around. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And you can scrape all that stuff up. Take it off the stick. Get them on in there. Now, at this point, we're gonna stop. Okay. Okay, so we got a nice little donut here. Now, as you can see, this side needs a little filling in, and I'm gonna do this same thing all the way to its base. That's the whole thing of it, is that I'm gonna take and keep going, adding more of this to it, so we end up with a big old cake, big happy cake of scenery. Yeah, like a birthday you weren't expecting. Or like a welcome back from jail, Dave. Like that kind of cake. Just, hey, it's Tuesday. What are we having cake for? So, okay. Now you can see here that I have taken this guy. Boop, boop. Here, get up close to that. Yeah. See, it's all the way around that rim. Okay. And even in here, like, alright. So we're gonna keep coming down until this is a flat up here. Well, maybe not a flat, but this is gonna be a something or the other up here. Okay? And that's that. The cost of this is one big thing that attracts me to it. apart from like rushing through this video and not really thinking about showing a process correctly, that's the big thing. The amount of glue that I've used out of this tube, a little under a third, maybe. So by volume, that's maybe 80 cents with the play sand, or the sand from the Dollar Tree. You can buy a big bag of, you could actually buy a large bag of play sand at the Walmart and use that as filler. You can use sawdust as filler. You can mostly you can fill it with anything that you want. I have, the reason I started adding stuff to this liquid nails and giving it the sculptability that it has with something in it was because when I was doing my my resin project on the wall, making the paint cups, I had to sand a bunch of them down, and I had sandings everywhere, just resin flake all over the place, buckets of it. And I realized, I thought about it, and I was sitting there one day, and I thought, well, you know, I could just mix this stuff together and see how this works. So that's the one fun thing about it. And the other big thing is that you're not burning a bunch of money on DOS. DOS is paper clay. It's a great clay, believe me. It doesn't go far. Even a large brick of it, it's gonna start costing you a lot more than you think. This stuff, it's gonna eventually rack up, but not gonna rack up the way that you would with any other product. You're not looking for hobby stuff. Hobby specific things are always gonna cost you a lot more. So this is a cheap, effective way to make hills. So just a moment, I'll be right back. So, speaking of cake, happy free from prison, Dave. So, here we have a piece that I worked on before. Okay? This is a solid steel drill bit. There's a lovely hole bit. This is what we end up with. That. Here, oh, doesn't matter that I did it anyway. We've got texture. Lovely, lovely texture because I'd put gray ballast in it. Gray stone, gray sand, whatever. So, got over here, it's sculpted down, great. Got some texture to it. So if I cover this over and throw down green grass, if I throw down whatever ground foam I have, if I spray it green, if I just flat spray it green, this is going to have a delightful texture to it that's not going to make it look like your run-of-the-mill, standardized wargame terrain. And it's cheap. It's next to nothing. So, give it a try. Let me know what you guys think. If you have an affliction that causes you to not be able to handle dirty or sticky hands, use a bowl, use a stick, you'll be fine. Alright guys, we'll see you next time. This has been Dusty DM. Love you.
I love you.
Fruit. No, yeah, you're right. Ew. Even I get bothered by the shit on my hands eventually. I do love putting shit on my hands though. Yeah. You're a big old gay.